Being sick, feeling alone and helpless. Have you gotten sick to the point where no one can find what you have, or that the doctors have told you it's in your head and simply sent you home with maybe a bit more medication? Do you feel that as a woman, we're taken less seriously than men medically? Well, you're not alone. If you feel like there's anything familiar about what I've just said, this episode is for you. Welcome aboard the podcast, A Woman's Spark, with myself, your host, Janik, a place to show women how powerful they are and remind them of the spark that they carry, the strength that gets us up every time we fall, a place to feel seen and understood when we don't fully have what it takes to get back up on a hard day. This podcast is to help you heal and become the best version of yourself during the roller coaster of life. We're building a community of women that wants to help one another and inspire each other to become stronger and more united as we were born to be. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing being sick, feeling alone and helpless. A regular illness, easy to see, like influenza or a simple diagnosis, a broken leg, a broken arm. Those are easy to diagnose. But for other diagnoses, they take longer to discover what they are. Sometimes doctors don't take the patient seriously or prefer to think that they know better than to listen to what the patient has to say. They dismiss them as quickly as saying hello. Have you had an illness and felt alone with no answers to your problem? Are you going through the complete medical system with no more answers than when you started? And are you feeling simply helpless, unseen, misunderstood, completely lost in a system that wants you to agree with the professionals that's, without even questioning anything else? This is an episode I fully relate to. For almost 5 years, if not more, I was exactly in a situation as our guest that's going to come on today, being told that it was in my head, take more morphine to ease your pain, that it must be muscular, and just simply not listening to what I was telling them, that my actual body was telling me. We aspire to live a happy and healthy life, and when our body isn't working properly, it's extremely destabilizing. Finding no help can even destroy your soul and joy for living. We're going to be discussing that today. Before that, we're going to have a few statistics found on several health sites on the internet. A high percentage of women report feeling unheard when going to see a medical professional. A survey indicates that a significant percentage of women feel their healthcare professionals don't even listen to them. For example, a study reported 84% of women felt their voices were not heard. It can be for maternity care, pain management, misdiagnosis, gynecological problems, and so much more. Women with autoimmune condition may be labeled as chronic complainers or told they are too concerned about their health. Women experiencing severe stomach pain in emergency room may wait longer than men with similar symptoms. Women with chronic pain may suffer more and longer than men. And one more, women are more likely to experience adverse effect from medications than men, potentially due to inadequate testing in women. This is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnosis, please consult a professional. Add to that all the pressure to have to go to work, possibly be a parent, make ends meet, smile, and reach all the standards a society needs from us. It's no wonder most women end up having some type of mental breakdown at some point in their life. It brings me back to our spark that brings us up every time we fall, but that spark can also wear thin. Change needs to happen. Here's to shine some more light on the subject. A beautiful spark today. Her name is Alexandra McGown. She's actually a teacher at my daughter's school. She works hard to make those children smile every day. She works in a school that values differences, including ADHD, dyslexia, and many other learning difficulties. She's had to deal with her own path in the medical system. After this short break, she's going to come and shine a light on her journey. I hope it can make other women feel finally seen in moments that can make women feel completely destroyed. When we come back, she'll tell us more about her journey with it. Let's take a short break and we'll welcome her after this. Welcome back to a Woman Spark podcast with your host, Janik. Today, in the podcast, A Woman Spark, we're going to be welcoming a beautiful spark. Her name is Alexandra McGown. She's a science teacher at the school for children with beautiful differences. She teaches my daughter, and she's had her fair share of that roller coaster ride I keep talking about in her life. Please welcome Alexandra. Hi, Alexandra.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good, good. I can see you're at school right now.
I am.
It's the end of the day.
It is.
It's very quiet, so the kids must be gone.
They all went home already.
So, we briefly had a phone conversation, and you told me about your journey with an injury you've had,
Mhm.
and you've had to go to the hospital, you've had to work the medical system, speak to professionals. Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey with that, basically?
Of course. So I won't be telling you actually what happened, the accident, because it's more personal.
Mhm.
But 6 years ago, I've had a work accident,
Okay.
and I've been living with chronic pain since then.
Okay.
Um, as I said, I'm still living with the consequences of that accident
Okay.
today. It's a daily struggle. It's not easy to live with. It affects every part of my life, from how I work to how I spend time with my loved ones. And I've had to make adjustments and accommodation to keep going.
Okay.
But I've I've made it to a point where I can be back at work now and
Okay.
do what I have to do. But as I said, it's really hard on a daily basis.
Okay. So can you tell me, when your accident happened 6 years ago, can you tell me a little bit of the medical process you've had? Did you have to meet professionals? How many professionals? Did you go in a hospital, emergency room? What was the journey like for you at the beginning?
So I didn't tell you, but the injury that I have is on my right shoulder.
Okay.
So when it happened, I went straight to the hospital to get it checked. And since then, I've seen too many doctors to count how many I've seen.
Okay.
I went through surgery. I went through physiotherapy. I went to OT. I've been to all the specialists that you can think of,
Mhm.
and none of them have been able to figure out what the pain is from just yet.
Okay. And were you given all sorts of tests? Like, you think of, I think of my own history, and I was given, scans, uh, MRIs, tests, blood tests, urine tests, name it. What kind of tests did you have to?
I've been pretty much through the same thing as you. I've had 8 MRIs since it
8
happened.
MRIs.
Yes,
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
8.
Keep
I've
going.
been through a dozen of scans.
Okay.
I've also got cortisone shots.
Hmm.
I've got 12 of that too, in my shoulder and my neck. Um, I used to go to the doctor every 3 weeks. They
Okay.
would give me all kinds of medication to try, but it doesn't work for long, So they
Mm.
keep bringing the dosage up, and you keep being in, like, your head is not all there when you take all that.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely. And then you start thinking, is it a new problem, or is it still the same problem? Because what it
exactly.
gives you, it's a completely, it involves, with medication, it involves the brain, it involves the heart, it involves all the organs that come with it. Did
It does.
did it create more problems?
It did, actually. I developed anxiety
Hmm.
issues with those medication that I had to take for many years. Um, yeah, I'm still taking some medication for anxiety today, less for the pain because I feel like it's not working. And with the job that I do, I wouldn't be able to teach and take morphine at the same time.
No.
I
Yeah,
do take
and you
it
have to. You probably
sometimes.
have to drive to school as well. So morphine and
Also,
driving is definitely not a good combination.
no,
But
exactly. So if I take it, I'll take it over the weekend or at night. But during the day, there's not much that I can take that will help the pain to go down.
and most days, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the pain like? 10
I could,
being the worst
it could 8, 9 at all time.
at all time.
Yeah.
How do you cope with that?
Well,
Aside from the medication, how do you cope with probably 15 to 20 kids? And yes, people will ask 15 to 20 kids, how comes? We're in a school with children with learning who are learning differently.
exactly.
And so classes of 15 to 20 children, and you're in
Mhm.
primary school, so they have a
Yeah.
lot of energy. How do you deal with a pain of 8 out of 10 with all these kids around you?
Well, you know what? I think that these kids are actually saving me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the doctors I saw not too long ago told me that people in my situation, it's only 10% of us who go back to work.
Okay.
So he said it's really pretty rare that people go back to work with that kind of pain, but they keep me going. They change my mind, they make me
Yeah.
happy, and I think that they're the reason why I can keep on going.
You know what? The first thing that comes to mind is like all the emotions that are resurfacing right now from all those years that I've just not been listened to, not heard. You know what? I just want to say I'm really sorry you're going through that, because not being heard, not being listened to, and just being in pain and feeling like I have to go back because it really hurts. I'm in pain. I can't operate. And yet, you're going to get to that hospital and be looked at like, not again. Or,
Yeah,
ugh, you're complaining again. And yet,
yes,
they're not going to be able to give you any more answers. I'm
exactly.
really
And it gets to
sorry.
a point where you think it's in your head.
Hmm.
That's what it make you feel like.
Absolutely. What are the things that you've been told whilst you were at the doctor? Like,
Well,
I,
some
I heard it's in your head, or it's muscular, or, here's a morphine. So what kind of things did you hear?
exactly what you've heard too. It's in your head. You're overreacting. It can't be that much of like can't be that painful, but they don't feel you. You
No,
feel it.
that's it.
And even if you tell them, you explain them, it feels like some of them just don't believe you. Take a pill and go on with your life.
And would you say you've seen, oh, thunder next to me. Great. I'm really sorry. um, would you say you've seen doctors that were men and women, or most, which one
I've
do
seen
you see?
both.
You've seen both. And did you get the same kind of reaction from both?
No, I didn't. I feel like I was listened more by women,
Hmm.
but
Okay.
I have to say that I had amazing male doctors too.
Hmm.
But I feel like the women were more there to listen and not to judge.
Okay.
And in my experience, I feel like most men doctors that I've seen were like they're just for the problem, and it was fast. Like this is what it is. This is what we're gonna do, and thank you next.
Yeah. They only have a limited amount of time that they can provide to you, right? So
Yeah,
have you thought of maybe, and I'm saying this to maybe for the listeners who maybe are searching for new answers, have you tried to go in the private sector?
I haven't because first of all, it's really expensive.
Yes.
Second of all, as I said, for me it was a work accident, so everything was covered by
Yes.
CNESST at that
Okay.
point. So I didn't have to.
Hmm.
But I have to say that I did think about it because it feels like it takes so much time to get someone to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Let's just say for the pain clinic, I've been waiting for the past 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Five
and I just
years.
got a call last week actually that I'm going to be able to go see someone next week, which
That's
is
so exciting.
good. Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a relief.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh, you must feel so much relief coming from that phone call. And,
Well,
and, and
I
is
have
it
to
a,
say that I was crying when they called.
oh, I'm sorry. That's amazing. And are they giving you an appointment in 6 months, or are you actually going to go soon?
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll have to do another podcast in a few months' time.
That'd be great.
Um, uh, how many professionals did you see that were not necessarily, the ER doctor or your GP, general practitioner doctor that you went to see? Like, did you see some people with, I don't know, a specialty?
I've seen, yeah, a couple of them. I saw the surgeon who did my surgery back
Yep.
in 2020.
Okay.
As I said, I've seen physical therapists, I've seen OTs, I went to acupuncture as well.
Okay. So you
Um,
tried
yeah,
maybe like, yeah, acupuncture, osteopath, maybe
yeah,
chiropractors. Okay.
pretty
So
much all of them.
yeah.
And now the doctor that I was talking about that I'm going to see in 2 weeks is a neurosurgeon.
Ah, okay.
That's something new that I haven't tried yet.
A bit of hope, maybe.
A lot of hope.
A lot of hope.
Yeah.
And how, other than the children at school, how do you maintain this, your mental stability and to kind of remain the best version of yourself through all that?
I am really lucky to have an amazing family
Mhm.
that is always there for me, as well as amazing friends and colleagues. I have to say that they keep me going.
Okay.
When I talk about my family, let's say with my shoulder, there's stuff that I can do on days where the pain is too bad. For example, just washing my hair. So,
Really, just as simple as washing your hair is hard because
yeah,
you can't lift your arm. Is that correct?
exactly.
Okay.
So, some members of my family are always willing to wash my hair for me.
Okay.
And that's
Wow.
that's one thing, but there's many things like that. I can't lift up big pots. Let's say if you bake something in a pot, I can't
Mhm.
lift it up, so I need someone to help me. And
Okay.
my family's always willing to help me with that.
Okay.
I'm really lucky with that. And I also try to find stuff that I like to do that I'm able to do
Mhm.
because I can't really do sports anymore. So I like doing arts and reading as well. I put myself through that instead, so it's
Okay.
more positive than the things that I can't do.
Earlier, you mentioned about your mental health being affected by all of
Hmm.
this. To what extent did you get in terms of mental health?
I've been through depression
Mhm.
because of the pain, the lack of sleep, the fact that you think people don't believe you, and that you also think at one point that it's in your head. And I think that's the hardest part of dealing with chronic pain because it gets so much in your head that you can't just take it out of your head.
Yeah, it's there.
And when
You
uh, when
feel
I
it.
went through depression, they would say you can't go through depression because of pain. And that's the part that I found really hard because it was actually because of the pain that I went through depression. But
Why would
many special,
you
I don't know,
can't go
specialists would
through
say there's no connection between those two things.
no physical connection? Or I'm just really trying to grasp how they can say there's no connection. Is it just there's no physical connection? Because there's clearly an emotional connection, right? But
There is,
okay, I'm trying to
there is
understand
to
where they're
me,
coming
but they
from.
would say there's none. So,
How do you approach the medical system now? Like, I was speaking to another guest a few episodes back, and it was hard for her to be heard and seen, just like you. Now, how do you approach the medical system when you go in now?
well, since I also got really good doctors and good services, I try to think that people that I will see will be as good as some people that I saw before. But I will also try to go with somebody else
Okay.
because I feel like when there's someone else with me, the people in the hospital, let's say, or the clinic will listen to me more than when I go by myself because that other person who's going with you can tell them facts, can tell them that they see you in pain, that they see you struggle with some stuff. And the opposite, if you go by yourself, then it's only your words that they can take.
Yeah, that's it. You get some backup
Yeah,
because it feels like you almost have to believe them of what you're feeling.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like having somebody with you is helping out a lot.
Okay. Lastly, before we take a quick break, this whole journey has affected you for 6 years. Obviously, physically,
Mhm,
it's affected you mentally. It's affected you in this that your mobility has been reduced considerably.
mhm.
Um, has it affected you anywhere else in other spheres of your life?
Well, at work as well, for
Hmm.
sure, because I used to do something else than what I'm doing right now when I got hurt. I was a behavior technician
Okay.
with some kids with behavior issues,
Okay.
and that is something that I can't do anymore
Because why? Why is that?
because I had to do physical restraints,
Ah, okay.
and now I don't have that strength in my arm anymore, so I wouldn't be able to do it anymore. I had already planned on going back to school and become a teacher when the accident happened, but now that I went back to school, I wouldn't be able to go back and do what I used to do.
Okay. Do you think you'll ever be able to get back to, well, obviously there's always the hope, right? But do
There's the
you,
hope, but
it,
there's no way.
there's hope, but there's no way?
There's no way. No, I can't go. It's when you get a work accident, then they put some stuff in your file, some restrictions,
Uh-huh.
and I have restrictions are that make that the going back to that job impossible.
Impossible. Okay.
Yeah.
But do you, with this new possibility glooming in front of you in 2 weeks, I mean, obviously you'll get to know more once you meet the doctors and the
Yeah, that's for sure.
neurologist, but do you feel deep down inside you? Because as women, we do have, well, all humans have a sixth sense, right? But
Mhm.
we do you feel like maybe one day you'll be able to get back to your 100% self?
Honestly, I don't think so. For sure, I see that hope, but I don't think so because the pain has been there for so long now. And even if they do surgery, let's say the other doctor that I saw told me that there's always going to be pain.
Mhm.
So I don't think I'll get back to myself, my before accident self.
Yes.
But I still have the hope that I could get better, closer to what I was before.
Yeah. Thank you, Alexandra. Um, we're going to take a quick break, but we've talked about the hard times. We've talked about your journey, but I'd like to also cover maybe some of the maybe positives that have come out from your journey, because I've said in the past, the forest, when we're in the forest right next to the tree, it seems like it's a never ending story because it's right there. But when we back up from the forest and we see the beautiful trees, we're able to see the beauty that it comes with. So I'd like
Yeah,
to really delve deeper into that with you, if that's okay.
that's good.
Okay, let's take a quick break. Welcome back to the Women's Spark podcast with Janik. We're back with Alexandra McGown. She's a kind soul that has gone through a tough journey of chronic pain, and is here today to share her story with us and allow other women not to feel alone during this journey of chronic pain. Um, we've discussed that, finding the right medical practitioner can take years, and it can take a toll on your mental health, and it can take a toll on your physical health. But also, um, through that, she's been able to work with children that bring her joy, that bring a smile to her face. And I'd really like to delve into that a little bit more. Whereas, Alexandra, what's the positive that's come out of your journey of 6 years of chronic pain? Because yes, it's hard, but has there been any positive?
It is hard, but I have to say that there is positive coming out of this. I got to learn more about myself,
Hmm.
about the resilience that I have, because when you get to face a situation like that, you have to go through what's inside you. So I have to say that with that chronic pain, I had to bounce back from setbacks. Living with pain requires a lot of mental strength to face each day and keep on going. And I have to say that my mental strength went bigger and bigger over the years, and I have to say it's still going on too.
Yep.
But
Never
that
ending journey.
yeah, It's a never-ending story, which is good
Yeah.
because you just keep on blooming. I could also say that I had to develop my patience
Uh-huh.
because we're used to have pretty much what we want when we need it.
Yeah.
And over the 6 years, I had to see many doctors, as we said. It took time. I had to make my patience become bigger because you have no choice but to be
Yeah.
patient. I also have to say that I had to learn how to take care of myself because you take everything you have for granted until you don't have it anymore.
Yeah. I
And
hear
not being
you.
able to use my arm and not able to do what I used to do had have made me realize that what I have is really important. So I don't take anything for granted anymore. And I think that's important because we always take what we have for granted.
We do. We do live in a society that goes very fast, and we get
Yeah,
everything that we want very quickly. And you look at social media or internet. You want some information, bam, we go, we take our phones out and we get the information we need. And
exactly.
when we can't get the right medication or the right results to heal ourselves and continue to be in an uncomfortable place,
Exactly.
it, it can be, what word would you use when you're stuck in that pain and you can't get out of it, right? It's like it can destroy your soul.
It
It can
does.
destroy your soul. So I'm happy to hear that you're able to find some positive. And but what's the spark that gets you back up every time?
I would say that the spark that gets me up every morning is knowing that I can make a difference in other people's life, even if I struggle daily. And knowing that some other people that I work with struggle too, let's say just for the kids I work with, that they learn differently.
Yeah.
Knowing that I have to struggle sometimes, they struggle too, I feel like I can understand them better, even if we're not going through the same thing.
Hmm.
I feel like this keeps me on going on because they make a difference in my life. I could make a difference in their life too. And I feel like this is
You
the
uplift
spark.
each other.
Yeah.
You know what? A little slice of life. I had my daughter here and her two friends from your school at the weekend, and they were asking me, "Oh, mommy, you can have Alexandra on your podcast," and
Oh,
oh
they're
my
so
god,
cute.
and we can't wait to listen to it. She's so nice, and she's always smiling and bubbly, and it was just like, I can't wait to have her on.
I love
for
them so much.
Yeah, for someone who's had a difficult path with chronic pain, thank you for taking care of those beautiful souls at school and putting a smile on their faces. Thank you for
And they
that.
do the same for me, so it's
Yeah.
good. And I have to say, I didn't tell you that before, but my dad also has chronic pain,
Okay.
and I take a lot on him. Like I'm the same as him.
Yeah.
And he always taught me that complaining doesn't change anything. Because you're
Mm.
in pain, but even if you complain, it won't change anything. So he always told me to take it on the positive side,
Yeah.
and I would go through it easy, like easily, not easily, but easier, let's say.
Try to
And
find like a positive to
yeah,
uplift you. I
in
see.
every day.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. So back then, when I was in depression, a psychologist that I used to see told me try to write down something positive about every day. Because sometimes you don't see the positive in all of what you're going through. And I started doing it, and it actually works. For
Yeah.
me, it helped a lot to write down something positive about my day every day. I don't write it down anymore, but I have to say that I think about it before I go to bed every night.
Yeah.
What was positive today?
It
And I
becomes an
feel like
automatic thing to do.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
feel that since I do it, I go through my days in a more positive way.
Mm. So I was just about to ask you, what's the most beautiful change that you've seen through this? But definitely being able to see some positive
Yeah.
is positive. What kind of positive do you see? Can you give like some examples to the listeners as to how you can find some positives and what kind of positives they can look for, even as small as a bird chirping, right? What are your positives that you see?
I talk a lot about work, but that's like my spark in my everyday. So the kids when they just say, "Oh, I understood because of you," or "You did a difference in my life," or that "Thank you for just being here today." That helps a lot.
Mhm.
Also, when I get to see my friends and my family, that I'm lucky enough to have them by my side, because I know that not everybody has the luck to have a good family around them or friends
Yeah.
around them. Uh, it's just the little things. I got to read 50 pages of my book today. I got to take time for myself today. I was able to wash my hair by myself today. Those are all little things that are positive for me.
Yeah, because when you take those steps back and you lose those things and you can reclaim your independence slowly but surely and or have less pain, those small steps become victories, right?
Exactly.
And they
Yeah.
become the positives. And then, or just go for a walk. This morning we had a blue sky, we had the birds. We're in the spring right now and it's just gorgeous. We're coming out of the cold and getting into slowly but surely the heat. These are
Yep.
all small little things that we can take and take into the positives.
I used not to believe in the little things, but now that I've been through chronic pain, I can tell you that the little things are everything.
Uh, that's beautiful what you just said there. That's really, really, and it's huge for anyone who's listening and is like, I'm deep into this. I'm deep into my pain. I don't know how to get out of this. I'm in uh, this tornado downward spiral of negativity.
Exactly.
Finding those small things, like you said, is everything because you need those small little steps in order to get yourself out of that downward spiral.
That's what keeps you going on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Since then, what are the 3 values that are a big part of your daily life?
Mm, family,
Mhm.
it's always been, but it's even more.
Yep.
Um, Perseverance,
Mhm.
and I would say, I don't know how I could say it, but I would say not taking anything for granted.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you had an advice, put yourself in your shoes at the beginning. Um, Living in the pain, living in the fear, living in the unknown. What advice would you give the listeners who are going through that right now?
I would say trust the process and never give up, because even if you think that it's never going to go away, even if you think that whatever you lost will never come back, it will eventually either come back or you will get to deal with it in a positive way. And I would say be gentle towards yourself, because at first I would tell myself that I was not lazy, but almost lazy, that I wouldn't be able to heal myself. But it wasn't me in the end. It's just my body that was not healing. I didn't find the good, not the good doctor, I would say, but the right doctor to
Yeah.
fix my shoulder and get the pain to go away. So I would say take your time, be gentle with yourself, and trust the process.
Thank you. That's It's everything. It's everything because I just am trying to put myself back in that start and how hard it was. And those, if someone had said those words to me, it would have probably made life a lot easier. So for anyone who's listening out there, what Alexandra just said, it's everything. Press rewind and listen to it as many times as you need because those words will lift you up and they will sink into you the more you listen to them and the more you put them in practice because that's what you have. You have you. That's all you have. You have you to live with, to uplift, and to fight for. So if you can do that, press rewind again. And like I said, and again, and just repeat it because those words will lift you up. Thank you very much, Alexandra.
Thank you so much.
Before we finish, during the break, I asked you a quick question. With your journey that you've lived, that you've gone through, and now you're 6 years later. Yes, you have the kids. Yes, you have the beautiful smiles that you can uplift every day of the week. What do you want to build with this? What would you like to do in the future to constructively maybe give back, pay it forward?
That's a good question. It's hard to answer. I'd say that I would like to be someone that I would have needed when my accident happened and when I started having that chronic pain, because I felt like no one could either understand or help at that point, because no one did around me did go through chronic pain at that time. So I feel like I would like to be able to help other people who are going through the journey that I had to go through.
Yeah.
How would I do that? I don't know yet. That's something I need to think about, but I would like to be someone that could help other people.
Well, guess what? You probably did today.
That's
And
good.
hopefully we get to do it again and again and again. And if someone just backs up and rewinds this podcast, and well, you'll be helping that person again, 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 and again. So
And if that happens, then mission accomplished.
mission accomplished. Exactly. Thank you oh so very much for sharing your experience. And I'm really sorry once again for all that you went through and that are still going through. I hope that the doctor you get to see in 2 weeks, for the next many weeks or many months that you're going to get to see them, is going to bring you all that you want, all that you need, hopefully cured 100%, but at least what you want and what you have in mind to go and get with this doctor.
Thank you so much.
To all you beautiful ladies out there, I hope you can take some, if not a lot of knowledge from Alexandra, from her experience. This is it for us for today. Tune in every week on your favorite podcast platform. If you want to get involved with the Be Guided, Be Inspired community, and you want to share what kind of impact you've had on others because of your experience, or you're currently going through a tough time, come and meet us on the platform at www.beguidedbeinspired.com. Write us and we'll connect. You can also find us on various social media platforms. Thank you for listening. Keep sparkling, you beautiful one. Thank you very much, Alexandra. Have a lovely day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.